Mr. Chairman, Senator Burr, thank you for the opportunity to testify today, and thank you for your attention to the issue of food safety and your interest in how technology can be deployed to potentially help contain outbreaks of foodborne illness and particularly facilitate recalls when an issue is discovered. I'd like to focus my statement today on three specific areas that highlight how IT solutions are being developed and could potentially be used to improve food safety and recalls. The first involves using a shared network of information to track the movement of food through the supply chain. The second involves using RFID to facilitate the capture and accuracy of the information within that network. Finally, the third involves the use of RFID-enabled temperature tracking devices to monitor the handling of product throughout the supply chain. As Senator Enzi pointed out, I'm from Franwell. Franwell is a technology development company based in Plant City, Florida. We offer technology products and services primarily to the food and pharmaceutical industry. We have a particularly close affiliation with the fresh food industry. We're also a technology partner for the Georgia Tech Research Institute and, as you pointed out, the University of Florida's Center for Food Distribution and Retailing. Franwell is also an active member of several industry groups, including United Fresh Fruit and Vegetables. I joined Franwell in March this year. Prior to that, I was with the Information Technology Department at Publix for 23 years. And in my career there, I was responsible for all the strategic planning and implementation of all the technology in Publix's 8 distribution centers and 24 warehouses. So I have extensive background in supply chain management. Now to get back to today's topic and the points I'd like to make. First, tracking product through a shared network. Before a food product reaches your dinner table, it's been through an expansive supply chain with many links along the way. Imagine the journey your bag salad takes. Starting in the field, lettuce or spinach is harvested and then taken to a processing plant. Once processed, it is then placed in a distribution center, loaded onto a truck, only to end up in another distribution center and on another truck before it ends up on your grocery shelf. And trust me, that's the short route. Is all this movement easy to track? Well, quite frankly, no. In today's supply chain, the individual links do a fair job of tracking the product within the confines of their organization and their own inventory tracking systems. But load that product on a truck destined for another company and you've just lost visibility of the product. When it arrives at its new destination, it begins a whole new life within the confines of their inventory tracking system, with very little, if any, ties to its roots. In order to execute any large-scale recall in a timely manner, the real key is an infrastructure that provides a network of shared data about product and its life cycle. If the shipment data about the product is available in a shared network, that product can quickly and efficiently be tracked and removed from the supply chain. Ideally, what you want to happen is all the tainted product is quickly removed, safe product is still available, and the result is less loss to the industry and prevention of the more devastating loss of lives. Franwell's been involved in an RFID trial led by the University of Florida CFDR. The goal of this research project has been to prove the viability of sharing this level of information across the supply chain. The project's called Visibility Validated, or V2. The project tracks shipments from 3 fresh produce suppliers, one of them coincidentally in Salinas, California, to a retailer's produce distribution center. Although on a small scale, the research project demonstrated that it is possible to use a network to share this data among trading partners. Next, I will address using RFID for the accurate and efficient data capture. I said earlier that companies do a pretty good job of tracking product within their own organizations, but many of the processes today are manually intensive, and when data is captured manually, mistakes can be made. RFID technology involves placing a tag on product cases that contain a tiny computer chip and an antenna. The antenna enables the chip to transmit information to a reader, pass it to a computer that can make use of it. This does not require contact between the reader and the tag. RFID technology is not new. It's been around since World War II. What is new is the mainstream use of RFID that we come across every day. RFID is used for automated toll payment systems, ID badges with secured entry to buildings, and even on the metro system. So when used on product cases, the RFID tag contains information about the product, primarily the electronic product code, or EPC. The EPC is unique to each case of product and is used to look up or update information about that case of product in computer systems and shared networks. The unique code allows us to identify one case of produce from another. Once applied, the RFID tags can be read at key points in the supply chain from trading partner to trading partner. I'm sure you can imagine how much more valuable it is to identify product by a serialized code. Keep in mind that for this information to be useful, it still requires a shared network of data, which contains the information about all the active electronic product codes within the entire supply chain. The technology is not yet perfect, but progress is made every day due to the efforts of universities, research labs, and private companies alike. And finally, I'd like to talk about using RFID tags for temperature monitoring. Monitoring the cool supply chain with RFID temperature monitoring devices is another area where Franwell and the Center for Food Distribution and Retailing are actively engaged. Temperature is the characteristic of the distribution environment that has the greatest impact on the storage, life, and safety of fresh food. Good temperature management is, in fact, the most important, yet the simplest procedure for delaying product deterioration and preserving product quality and safety. RFID can be combined with temperature monitoring devices to allow full visibility of a product's life cycle through the cold chain in real time. Although E. coli is not a result of poor temperature management, other health concerns are a direct result of temperature abuses. RFID devices offer standard interpretation of data, and the read can be automated with the same readers that are capturing other information about the product. Information technologies can be used in many ways to make the supply chain more effective. They have to be interoperable. And for that, we need industry-wide standards. If we're going to have an effective RFID track and trace system to facilitate product recalls, it has to be uniform from one company to the next, and in today's global environment, it has to be uniform from one country to the next. In some cases, industry has done a very good job in producing widely accepted standards. In other cases, it's important for government to play a leadership role. It is not easy and can be a long and difficult process, but standardization is critical to widespread implementation of any new technology, and those standards must stretch beyond company and country borders. Congress and the administration can help by encouraging the FDA and USDA to work with standards groups. Federal government can also help by sponsoring research efforts, such as the work being done at the University of Florida and other universities, as well as private technology companies. And finally, the federal government needs to reinforce to private industry the importance of cooperating on standards, and that track and trace of product and ensuring a safe food supply should never be a reactive afterthought. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today.